Hi, welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast where two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs and sometimes convince people to play a game. I'm DJ,
And I'm Sam, and we're besties that love to game.
and sometimes we convince each other to play video games.
See, I don't. Yes, I'm gonna maybe set a little bit of a different bar. We are gonna be talking about convincing a game, but this is a game that I'm already interested in playing to some degree. So I think the
Oh,
bar is gonna
cool.
be convince me to play because it's easy for me to say that, but am I actually gonna do it, right?
Oh, sure,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
convince me to really play it or play it like in a normal horizon of like the next 6 months or something. Like that's the bar to clear. How does that sound?
Oh, okay, I'll try. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games that if you play, I'll play it alongside you because I've not played it since 2019. since
Okay.
since the remaster. But before we get to that, Sam, my bestie, how are you?
Yes.
What are you doing? How's
I'm
life?
good. I feel like we haven't it's been a bit since we recorded, right? We've been a little busy, and so
Yeah,
here we are again in the studio,
in the
back in the
stooge,
studio.
back in the stooge
Uh
show.
no, things are good. All the kids, as like I normally talk about, are growing. N is in a summer camp thing that's for like it's called Stage Works, and so they do like plays and songs and things, and I think she's really loving it. So that's nice. They're learning some songs for a piece, I guess maybe you call. I don't even know what it is, but it's called Fish Say Please. That's what they're learning. So
Fish,
yeah,
fish, please.
fish please. Yes, it'd be better. It'd be better if it was fish please. I would, I would, I would buy the merch if it was fish please. Um, but and then also little tiny baby K is trying to talk more. And she actually can say a decent number of words, but one of her favorite things to do is just to start muttering, no, 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 no. Because what we say to her when she is doing something we don't want her to do is we tell her, Kay, no, 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 no. And so now she can sense when she's doing something that like is naughty and she shouldn't be doing it. So then she keeps doing it while muttering, no, 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 and just keeps doing it.
Yes, she's tempting you guys. She's like, "Come get me,
Yeah,
punish me. I dare you. I'm the baby."
she's the baby. She can do whatever. She does whatever she wants. She is really hard to stay mad at. She's so darn cute. So it kind of works. She's playing it. She knows what she's doing.
Oh,
But what else have you been up to? I'm so glad that you guys, I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but I will for a second with Vox. I'm so glad you live stream it and that we were able to at least watch it because we weren't able to come in person. That was so special for us to be able to listen to it live. So thank you. I know that takes a little bit of doing.
no, no, easy peasy for us to do on our end. I was gonna talk about that. I am so pleased. I was so pleased. For those who are first now tuning in, sorry to bore people who already know me. I am a musician. That's my full-time job. I am a gross singer, opera singer. Weird. And sometimes I sing in a couple of professional ensembles too. And this one ensemble, Vox Nova, just did a world premiere of a chamber orchestra choral piece that had 7 movements in it, and it was about 45 minutes long, with text by a dear friend, and the music was written by another dear friend who conducted it. And the person who wrote the text is a beautiful alto who also sang as well in this 19-person ensemble and then 10-person chamber orchestra. It was fantastic. I think it was maybe the best thing that Vox has ever done.
It was
Really,
gorgeous.
thank you. Thank you. You'll get a chance to hear our studio recording of that actually in a little over a year. We're going to come back and professionally record it with the chamber orchestra in an official studio. And
Wow.
hopefully then by the end of 2027, it can be eligible to be nominated for a Grammy.
Oh my gosh. Oh, do that. Do all of that. That sounds
That's
so exciting and amazing.
that's the goal. That is the absolute goal. So we're working on the Grammy requirements, which would take an entire podcast. So I cannot tell you now how to do that.
I
It
oh my
is
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fantastic. I loved all the
Thanks.
pieces. I'm biased because you're my bestie, as we've said on this show. But the second to last one was so good, and then the very last piece, yes, your solo piece, I guess, right? That would
Yeah,
be the
yeah,
only
yeah.
one you were solo. Yeah, yeah. But well, the main one, you were the main attraction soloist for that
For
piece.
that piece, for that no,
Uh,
for that movement, movement six. Yes.
movement. Sorry, I want to use the right terminology.
No,
But
you're
so
good.
good, so good. Oh my gosh. Is it? Is I don't want to be insulting to
Not
it,
at all. Not at
but
all.
by comparing to this or saying it, but it felt like almost movie score esque in the way that felt, in the way that it presented, and how good it was. It like a fantastic movie score.
Yeah.
But I don't always feel that way about choral chamber, music. So I don't know if that's an insult to compare it to that.
No, I don't think that's an insult at all. There's good music that sounds like a movie, and then there's good music that doesn't sound like a movie or a video game. There's bad music that also sounds like movies or video games. You know what I mean? So,
Yes, yes, and
no,
I'm
this
saying like a like top tier soundtrack to a amazing film that's like a masterpiece. That's the way it sounded.
it thank you. I will tell that to the composer because I think this is going to be in the canon of what folks do. It was just fantastic. There were video game elements. The composer is also a big gamer as well. So
Love
there
it.
were, I know, right? There were elements that in like movement two that I thought, ooh, this sounds a little bit like Castlevania Symphony of the Night or
Oh.
or adjacent. And there were parts of movement four that I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds a little bit like a Studio Ghibli anime from like the 80s. Like it sounded like summer in Japan in the late 80s. And I know that sounds
Oh.
so specific, but go back and
Very
listen to
specific.
I know. And neither you and I have been to Japan yet, but it really elicited that feeling. I don't know, that vibe for me. I don't know. I sound like a lame musician right now being like, "Oh, it sounded like summer in the 80s in Japan." But that's exactly what it sounded like. That's exactly what it sounded like to me. So, yeah, it's awesome if you're listening and you're like, "What the hell is he talking about?" Vox Nova, Vox Nova Colombia, Vox Nova Como. You can find us all under that brand. Go listen to our live stream on the Facebook. It is just so cool.
Yeah. Well, bravo, bravo.
Thank you, thank
Um,
you.
but now, speaking of, games and beautiful soundtracks and other things, I assume this one does maybe it has a beautiful soundtrack. I don't know.
Yes.
How am I supposed to segue when I haven't played this game? You're convincing me. But today, DJ will be talking about Final Fantasy VIII and convincing Sam, do I play it now,
Do
very soon, ever?
This is my first convince episode that where I'm convincing you, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited there was like no nerves before this. I was like, I just gotta log in, sit back, relax, have a drink, maybe not. Poppy, where you at?
Poppy, give us a sponsorship, Poppy.
We're gonna keep doing that call out. And I get to ask questions, and this is gonna
Yeah.
be great.
I think it'll be super fun. So why don't you give us a brief overview, and if you don't mind after that, I'll take it from there.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the game, Final Fantasy VIII, obviously the eighth installment of the very, very famous Final Fantasy series, originally released February 11th, 1999 in Japan, released to North America a little bit later in the year, in September. And then there was a remaster that was done. There were a few other kind of versions on like other like PSP, I think, and other things. But then the next big release would be the remaster in September of 2019, so a lot more recently. It was published by Square Enix, depending on the edition that was released, and developers
Yep.
Square, and platforms pretty much anything. So PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, Windows, Steam, and then also even like an iOS and Android, like
Oh
mobile
yeah.
version, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, gameplay. It is a turn-based. We are the turn-based besties, so it is a turn-based classic RPG that DJ is going to tell us a lot more about with that gameplay. But yeah, so that's the basics.
All right, there you go. So here's my kind of long-winded pitch for
Okay.
playing Final Fantasy VIII. Feel free to raise your hand and let me
Oh, is that
know.
what I do?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you raise your hand. Otherwise, you'll talk too loudly, and I'll be like, Sam, I can't hear myself. So, all right, here's my pitch. I'm starting it out with saying this game isn't for everyone. and that's okay.
Okay, starting out strong.
Right, right, right.
Sorry,
That's okay.
sorry. Hand up. Starting out strong.
Oh my gosh, stop it, stop it, stop it. I have a huge bias for this because Final Fantasy VIII was my first Final Fantasy that I played, so I think the first Final Fantasy for anybody is probably going to stick with them, you know? So
Okay,
I
okay.
go ahead and throw that bias out there. It was a Christmas gift for me in 1999, and I spent my entire Christmas break playing it, and
Aw.
like it's such a fond memory. Like I literally played it on New Year's Eve. Like I was in eighth grade, I think, yeah. And I played it on New Year's Eve, and I remember exactly what happened in the game as like the new year switched over.
Aw.
Yeah, it's just a silly
So
little memory that I have.
you have all the nostalgia connections to this game.
I totally do. There's
Okay,
total
okay.
nostalgia with this one. It,
Admittedly. So we're starting from there.
oh, for sure. And I thought, I would start with some of the negatives right from the beginning.
Okay,
You
okay.
know, some that
Slip them in, so I don't remember them by the end.
exactly right. I'll slip them in. Some of them I could see agreeing to some of these, but I'm going to give some context. So
Okay,
it has a convoluted story. It does. It starts off simple enough, and I'll give you a gist of the story here in a moment.
hmm
But it does
hmm
get a little detailed. That's not always a bad thing, but it can be overwhelming. The stat building can become overwhelming if you are dumb. I'm. I actually
Stat
don't.
building. What do you
Yeah,
mean exactly?
I'll get into that. I promise. And it isn't Final Fantasy VII. I really believe
Hmm.
that a lot of the hate for Final Fantasy VIII stems from the fact that it isn't Final Fantasy VII. And
Okay.
I enjoy Final Fantasy VII, the original one. I'm not a hater
Okay.
of that. The Final Fantasy VII fanboys, I think they were looking for more of the same. Rightfully so, because 7 was so instrumental in popularizing the JRPG in North America. And I think that they were pissed when it was completely something different. So I think there's also another camp of FF8 haters because they were basically told for the past 20 plus years to hate Final Fantasy VIII for, like, I don't know, reasons. I can admit that not all of the characters, while they're all charming, not all of them get fleshed out, maybe
Okay.
as you would want all of them to be. Some of them are a little angsty. Squall, much like Cloud, Squall is the main character, and
Okay.
much like Cloud in Final Fantasy VII, they're a little angsty, and that can be annoying sometimes depending on where you are in your own life. I get it. And time compression storylines are always convoluted. Also, there are only three people to a party, so that's my little okay, sure, there are only three people to a party, and I love a big old party of six if we can get it. And we kind of get a part. We do get a party of six. It's just you can only have three in a battle at any good set given time. So let me give you a really brief summary of Final Fantasy VIII. It follows the story of Squall Leonhardt, a stoic and reluctant student at a military academy called Balam Garden. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. He's training to become a member of Seed, an elite mercenary force. The game's plot weaves themes of love, a lot of love, identity, and fate across a politically volatile world. There are three acts that I could give you. I'll give you kind of the gist of Act 1. I'm not going to give you Act 2 or Act 3 because that gets into spoiler territory.
Okay.
So, in Act 1, Squall and his companions, I'm not going to name them yet because I don't want to get into too much spoiler territory, are drawn into conflict involving a powerful sorceress named Adia who's manipulating the world events through militaristic Galbadia nations. And that's Act 1. And I can't give away
Okay.
any more because some of the twists are stupid, but they're cool when they happen in this game still.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'll just have to see it to believe it. I don't
I
know what you mean by stupid, but cool.
I know. Some of them are kind of silly, but okay, so I think Final Fantasy VIII is the most unusual of its PlayStation 1 era. So you have Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9. Sometimes people include 6 as a part of that PlayStation era as well. And of those
Okay.
four, it's the strangest. It immediately subverts expectations. It's a game that takes a lot of risks. So, like I said, we have a futuristic military school setting. We have time compression. we have a weird magic system. So you love it or hate it, it's never boring, and it's what I love about Final Fantasy is that they always try something new. It may not always hit, but you can never say that they're stuck in their own ways, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the combat, it's turn-based tactics, chess-like decision making, careful
Well, here,
planning.
actually, I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm sorry,
Raise your
I'm
hand,
totally
baby.
cutting you off. I'm
No,
totally cutting you
no, no,
off.
no, no. Tell me.
Story wise, okay, you say military academy school.
Yeah.
What age range? Does it feel like a high school or more collegey or post that? What does it have any sort of feel like that?
Oh, it feels collegey. They are
Collegey. Okay.
they're teenagers, which is kind of sad that there's these schools all around the world that are setting up teenagers to be killers.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's less Persona-y and
Ugh,
more,
there's
I don't
no
know, like those YA stuff, I'm not saying that in a bad way,
oh
but
yeah.
like a Hunger Gamesy or something else, like dystopian. They're training militaristically. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I'm more down with that. I'm more down with that as long as it's not just straight up high school
No,
Persona stuff.
I don't think in this world high school exists. I think you either go to military academy or you don't go to school, kind of a thing.
See, that's somewhat interesting to me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's your training, your whole schooling is focused on military based on the dystopian future sci-fi thing that we're
Yeah, based on, I mean,
that's intriguing.
and I wouldn't say dystopian future. It's just futuristic and sci-fi. You know, there are that's the cool thing is the Final Fantasy VIII kind of carries on the tradition of Final Fantasy VII of modern and futuristic, not necessarily dystopian. There are wasteland parts, but there are also a lot of futuristic looking cities as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think sometimes things can be a dystopia even if it's not wasteland and bad. It's just dystopia in the sense that it's not a utopia, in that even in Final Fantasy VII, it's like Shinra and the corporations are taking over. And so it's like a capitalism endpoint that's dystopian because it's not what a society that you would love because it has negative aspects of
Oh,
capitalism or something
yeah,
else.
you're
It's
totally right.
dystopian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, but continue.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no, I like this. I like
yeah.
this. I'm good with this.
Oh yeah, you're totally right
Um,
though.
but it doesn't have to be Mad Max exactly. But okay,
Right.
cool, cool, cool.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
love to hear about the gameplay, and I would love to shut up and let you talk.
Yeah. No, it's good. Okay, so gameplay. It's turn-based. We have that covered already, right? So leveling up is interesting in this one. So you level up instead of leveling up in the usual way. You power up by collecting spell-like items. I'll get into that in a bit. Junctioning. I put junctioning in quotes because that's actually what the game calls it. Junctioning those spells to your stats. Think of it like equipping power-ups. And customizing every character's role and playstyle. You can play the game normally or you can break it. You can totally break the game by all these junctions. And it's done by experimentation. You don't you don't really grind in Final Fantasy VIII. You certainly can, but in some ways the game kind of punishes you for overgrinding. Uh, each level only takes 1,000 experience points to gain, and all monsters level with you. Oh, rather, all monsters and bosses level with Squall. So
Oh,
if you want to, you can always have Squall dead in your party. If you really want to, if you want to break the game that way, don't. That's stupid.
oh, okay. So everybody else is more powerful, so that you're fighting weaker enemies.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could do that. That seems stupid though. I know people have played it that way. I'm not gonna, yuck their yum, but that's not how I would play the game, of course. You have summons that you can acquire over the course of the game, and they have I am being vague by this. They have in-universe storyline reasons for the students being able to summon these guardian forces and the impact that they have on your character for being able to summon them or to hold them within your person.
Okay.
So the junction system, I said I'd get into it. It's deep and flexible and entirely breakable, just like me. I don't know. So, unlike traditional leveling, your power comes from how well you junction magic to your stats. You can beat bosses, quote unquote, underleveled with a clever setup, or you can grind out powerful spells pretty early and kind of trivialize the game in the first part if you want to. It's a really customizable system in the franchise. So the system, I think I admit, it can be a little overwhelming at first, but once it clicks, like you're cooking with oil or whatever how the saying goes. I really don't think it's that difficult. I managed to kind of get it as an eighth grader, so I don't really buy the argument that it's really complicated. I don't buy that as like legitimate criticism.
So if I
So
play it, I better get it, or you're insulting me.
yeah, or you're stupid.
Get good, bro.
Yeah, get good. So you draw magic from baddies or from various spots on the world. So draw is an action you can take in battle.
Hmm.
And you can hold up to 100 of every magic. So, for example, I'm in battle. I'm going to draw from this fly instead of hit it. Great. What kind of magic do they have? They have fire. Cool. I'm going to draw from them. Great. I got 9 fire from them. I'm going to draw again. Okay. I only got 2 fire from them that time. Okay. Now time for me to kill them. You can draw until your heart's content until you get to 100 of every magic if you want to. There are 49 different spells in the game, and each character can hold up to 32 different spells. So every character has access to every type of magic. The downfall, if you have magic junctioned to some of your stats and you use that particular magic in battle, your stats will start to go down. Oh, DJ, it punishes you for using magic. No, it doesn't. Just get good. Just be better.
So,
It doesn't punish you for using magic. You have a your hand raised.
so if you have magic junction to a stat and you use that magic in battle, the stat will go down.
Yeah, so let's say you have 100 Curaga
Okay.
junctioned to your HP. So let's say that gives you, I'm making up a number. Let's say it gives you 2000 HP.
Okay.
And let's say you use 10 Curaga. Squall uses 10 Curaga, and Squall is the one who has Curaga junction to his HP.
Okay.
And let's say in battle he uses 10 of the Curaga. Your max HP will probably be 1980.
We'll go down
Yeah.
just for that battle.
No, until you replenish, until you get back to 100 magic again.
Oh.
Yeah. So it incentivizes you don't have to junction Curaga to your HP. You could junction water instead if you want to.
Hmm. Okay. I'll
Yeah, yeah,
have to
yeah.
look into this system. But okay, it's interesting though. It's there's different
It's
levers
bizarre,
you're
right?
pulling and they affect other parts of it and you have more things to think about. And it's oh, no, but I'm intrigued though, because it sounds different than what I'm used to, and I like that.
It's different, and as soon as you get the hang of it, you're like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll do this now. I'll junction this magic instead. And it also
Okay.
has
Okay.
it has auto junction. Like you can let the game just do it for you.
And it just kind of picks a does it pick the optimal? Is it good at that, or does it just pick something?
It can pick the best in terms of attack, defense, or magic. I think are the three.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So if it really is kind of confusing, you can just auto junction, and it'll give you a fairly decent setup. If you want to break the game, it's not going to auto junction
It's
won't
not
break
gonna
the game
auto
for
to
you.
that. Yeah, gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
that's
Okay.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a brief rundown of the junction system. So now I have to go to like the cinematic presentation. Just like Final Fantasy, not sorry, just like Parasite Eve was kind of a cinematic game in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
As much as I know that that didn't really hit with you, but
The story
the
though, surprisingly did.
the story did, and the CGI, the graphics for a game in 1998, 1999 really hold up. Well, Final Fantasy VIII kind of took the graphics and the CGI that Parasite Eve had and like turned it on its head and made it just jaw dropping. The opening sequence, the Liberate Fatali, is so iconic. I once sang it in a video games live concert. I think it was like one of my first professional gigs ever, like 20 years ago, and I was like, wow, I'm so cool now. The way the cutscenes transitioned directly into gameplay was groundbreaking at the time.
It's not jarring like Parasite Eve or or Final Fantasy maybe even.
No,
Final Fantasy
like
seven,
it was
seven, Final Fantasy eight is.
seven was kind of jarring how that happened.
Yeah, yeah. So this one though, it feels it's more fluid and it doesn't the graphics are not so different cutscene versus gameplay. Is that what you're saying? Do
Yeah,
they have fingers?
they do have fingers. I love,
Woo!
especially in the remaster, I love how they look more realistic. They don't look like cartoons. Everyone looks like a human, which is kind of
Cool.
nice.
Okay, great, great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, the visuals for a PS1 era, I mean it pushed the PlayStation 1 like to its limits. Much how Mother 3 pushed the Game Boy Advance to its limits.
Mm-hmm.
Same concept here. It feels like you're playing a dreamy interactive anime film.
Okay, okay.
So, a story that starts grounded and grows wild, and baby does it grow wild. So, you play as Squall, you start as Squall, student at a military academy, as I already said, and it slowly unfolds into this strange, time bending, emotionally rich journey about love. It's part teenage drama, not teenage drama like Persona, I swear. Part sci fi mystery, part
I'm holding
romance.
you to that.
I hope you do. Part romance movie. Is it weird? Yeah. But it totally sticks with you. I love that all your characters have an actual reason of being together and traveling with you. That main reason
Hmm.
basically being that they either go to the same military academy or they go to various different military academies and they were assigned certain missions and they're like, wait a second, this doesn't seem what we thought it was going to be. What's going on with the
Hmm.
world? I like the main cast. All six are military students of your main six people that you have. You do have more than six party members with some time lapsey stuff that happens. But your main six are all five of them are military students and one is a rebel.
Hmm.
You know, so gone are the days of, hi, thanks for saving my cattle from goblins. I'd love to join you on your quest.
Well,
You know, which,
if they have a cool ability, then yeah, come on, join. If they
right,
don't, then yeah, go hang out with your cattle.
go hang out with your cattle. So it's also a love story, and I really mean that. So unlike a lot of games, unlike a lot of Final Fantasy games too, Final Fantasy VIII puts romance at the front and center. It is weird and awkward and dramatic in very human ways, and watching Squall, a moody introvert, try to connect with Renoa, the rebel, is really
Hmm.
moving. Squall and I think I'm saying I think I'm saying Renoa's name right. I hope anyway. Squall and
Looks right to me.
Renoa's right. Their relationship is like the emotional core of the story. If you're into some character, it's not the deepest, but if you're into some character-driven, emotionally awkward love stories with a brooding protagonist, this one's for you, babe.
But it,
Yeah, go. Yeah, question, Sam.
but but there's not like romance elements to the gameplay. It's
Oh,
just
no,
the
no, no, no.
storyline is romance.
Just the story. Just the storyline is romance.
There's not like Fire Emblem-esque or Persona-esque like romancing somebody. Okay,
No, no,
okay,
no, no, no. None of that. It's
just
just more.
clarifying.
No, yeah, yeah. No, good. I mean, good because we've don't all you and I both don't always love that mechanic in
I
other
I
games.
don't always. I mean, there's times it's okay as long as it like leads to some buff in the gameplay. Like I'm better with that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'll build up their relationship. That's kind of cute, but also it makes them attack better when they're next to each other. That's I know, but I like that. I like that functionality.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, Squall and Renault will be with each other no matter what happens in the game.
very
So
good.
the composer Eomatsu, the Eyes on Me was big for its time because it had sung lyrics.
Mm.
You know, not every Final Fantasy game always had sung lyrics to it.
Oh, good
So
point. Yeah.
yeah, so that was cool. There are tracks like Fisherman's Horizon, the Landing, Fragments of Memories that are peak Eomatsu. So dreamy, melancholic. They really match the game's tone. I actually played one of those in eighth grade band. Yeah,
Who like the whole band was playing it, or
the
you
whole
just decided?
the whole band. So like the game came out in '99, the spring of 2000. One of my last band concerts in middle school was we played. I think we played Fisherman's Horizon.
Who's that? So that has to be the band director's idea.
Yeah,
So you had a nerdy gamer band director?
I think so.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Super wild. Um, so the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
it is It's incredible. I can hum stuff from Final Fantasy VII and 6 and 8, and those might be the only games that I can, like, Final Fantasy games I can hum stuff from. And I
Oh,
like 9 better than 8 ultimately. But
yeah.
man, the music is just iconic in number 8.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
The bonus game, like the little side game, is called Triple Triad. It's worth just booting up Final Fantasy VIII to play Triple Triad sometimes. I'm not even joking.
Okay. Okay. Sell me on that. Why? Why is this mini game so good?
It
I hear that
is
about certain mini games within games.
it's so much fun, Sam. You know me, I'm not really much of a mini game. I'm not really much of side quests. I'm definitely not optional boss kind of person.
Okay.
Triple Triad is stupid fun. It is stupid fun. Some of them are there are components to collecting cards in the game that can also help you break the game as well. I don't play it for that reason. I just think it's fun, a fun little side game to play, and I
Oh,
tried.
things you do. Sorry. Things. Hands up.
Yeah, yeah.
Things you do in the game give you stat boosts or items that help you in the regular game. Is that what you're saying? Something you do in the side game
There
helps
are
you break the regular game?
there are some components of like the cards that you collect to play Triple Triad. So like, oh, I just won this game. Every game you win of Triple Triad, you gain one of your opponent's cards.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you can refine certain cards if you want to into higher magic. I don't really play that way because I also like to hold on to my cards. But like if you let's say you get a card that's a Renoa card. So there's only one Renoa card in the entire game.
Oh.
So already it takes a lot to get it, right? So like
Okay.
I wouldn't refine that card, but some people might be like, "All right, cool. I'm going to do that and get 100 tornado magic spells." Or so I'm making that magic spell up, but you know, like I'm going to get that, junction that to my defense. Great, I can defend against almost anything in the rest of the game for all of disc 2 probably.
Okay. Okay, but it does so that you can then use it on your regular gameplay stuff,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
other
yeah. There
words.
there there are
Crossovers.
yeah, there's crossover from the Triple Triad, but it's fun. I have lost hours just kind of traveling the world trying to play cards with everybody because you can play cards against almost any NPC,
Oh,
which is pretty fun.
that's cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
they all have different like skill levels, or why would you play against one versus another?
Some of them have really
Will
great
clean your
cards.
clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them
Oh,
have
okay. You
really
can
great.
get.
And remember, if you lose, they get to take one of your cards, and the game will always take the best card that you just played.
Oh, that
So it's a
stresses me out.
lot of save scumming. But you also don't have to play triple triad
Oh,
at all. But it's just fun.
well, it
Yeah.
sounds like I have to play Triple Triad from the way you're selling it.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Always save before you play, but it's so
Yeah.
much
Okay.
fun.
That's what I would have to do. Okay.
But
Okay.
also the theme song for Triple Triad is just addictive and catchy.
Can you hum that?
It starts with
I'm
a
putting you on the spot.
it is a it's just bum ba dum 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 ba dum. It's so fun.
You sold me right there, just with the theme song for the side game.
Good. I'm glad. Max knows that theme also by heart, I think, at this point, from just like hearing it for the past 15 years. So, yes, also Final Fantasy VIII just dares to be weird. It commits to weird, bold design choices, awkward teenage dialogue, a convoluted sci-fi plot. You like sci-fi, Sam?
I like
That
sci-fi.
somehow works if you're willing to just lean into the wackiness of it. It's confident in its weirdness, and I think that makes it unforgettable.
Okay.
So the final thing is, I don't think you need nostalgia to enjoy it. This isn't like you had to be there in 1999 kind of a game. Parasite Eve, I fully admit, is. It's one of those
Hmm.
that you had to be there to really enjoy it. I don't think that's the case with Final Fantasy VIII. I think it can hit differently as an adult because it's about young people trying to figure out who they are in a world that is spinning out of control all around them. Sound familiar? Like, we've all lived that life before on some level. And unlike older games, The new versions of Final Fantasy VIII are fully playable on modern platforms with quality of life boosts like speed up options, no random encounters, auto level boosts if you're stuck.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
so those are my gosh, I didn't even get into like so many things with the game here. Like limit
No, but that was
breaks.
really good.
Yeah. No, thanks. So, should you play it? Yeah, if you hold on, I have a reason why you should play it. I wrote a list here.
Isn't that the whole last podcast? You were just talking about your reasons.
I know, right? Well, no, if you're just in if you're in the mood for I think a fairly easy JRPG that is modern, futuristic, takes military kids, big emphasis on the romance between your two main protagonists, and just leans into being weird sometimes, like mother weird sometimes. Not quite as weird, but a little strange. I think it's the game. I think it's a game for you. It is sci-fi. I would definitely call it sci-fi romance.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. No, this is good, DJs. Okay, so what I would say, I'm going through all the things you said. I think you've done a fairly darn good job explaining this to me and what might make me want to play it sooner rather than later.
Ooh.
You said your negatives. They don't always hit with me as negatives the same way.
Yeah.
You said the characters maybe aren't your favorite. You know, the characters themselves are never the main thing that drives me towards a game, so that's not a huge notch
Yeah.
in the negative towards me.
Yeah.
Three people in a party doesn't hurt my feelings too badly. I'm loving Claire Obscure right now, and it is only three people. You can
True.
do it just fine. Final Fantasy VII, I really like that game, but it also I feel like since it was the inspiration for so many games after it and so many other games, it feels samey going back and playing it, later on like I did,
Yeah.
that maybe it wasn't as revolutionary to people that played it at that time. So hearing you say that 8 is so different is kind of refreshing and sounds nice in a way. So that's good. I'm down with sci-fi. I'm down with like, some sort of messed up futuristic military. Everybody has to get enrolled. That sounds cool to me. I would have to see about the emphasis on the love story, but it sounds like it's a good story, so cool.
Yeah.
The combat sounds really confusing. I mean, you've
Great.
done a very good job going through all this, except maybe I don't understand that, but it sounds like it's because it's really, really
Let me see if
confusing.
I
It's just
can.
it is.
Let me see if I can
No, it's okay.
unmuddy this.
Is
No,
it
no, 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 no. I'm gonna try
okay?
turn based.
I know that.
You can attack people.
Okay.
You can
Oh,
use magic.
magic people,
You can use guardian forces. They're called GFs. Those are your summons.
summons. I expect Final Fantasy should
Yep.
have summons.
Each character can equip two summons,
Okay.
and when you equip a summon, that gives you the ability to junction magic.
When you equip it, you can junction it.
When you equip
Okay.
a summon, then you can junction magic to a stat.
Then you can junction magic to a stat, which
Hmm.
then boosts that stat,
Hmm.
but then when you use it, you lose it a little bit.
Yeah, until until you just draw magic from literally any monster in any battle. And every monster has unlimited magic you can draw from them.
But that uses your turn.
It does use your turn. That's true. It uses your turn. And in that turn
Okay.
you're not hitting somebody.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that can prolong a battle sometimes, which is annoying. But we have at least a speed up option for, modern gaming.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, quality of life I put in the positive for the remaster. That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah, yeah.
great. Yeah, combat system. I think I would be able to like it because of what you said, being how customizable it sounds like for each character. And you get to customize their play style and kind of think about ways to break it. It's not just
Yeah.
like you might not be in a situation where you just are like, oh, I guess I just have to go grind for a while. You can say, oh, how do I adjust things? How do I work this differently to win? And I love that much more than I like the thought of a lot of JRPGs that it's just like, I'm just gonna have to level for a little bit and then I go with the same strategy. So that's cool. You said cinematics, love that. The music Very
Oh,
intriguing,
so
very
good.
exciting, so good. So that's good. And then Triple Triad, got to do it. Sounds great.
Got to do it.
Um, no, but honestly, I I think in my head that I thought it would be just like a normal iteration on top of seven, and that did not sound as exciting. So I'd say compared to coming in, I am more likely to play it sooner. So I'd say you did it.
What? We did it.
We did it. It was all me sitting here listening.
We did it.
Um,
It's, one like other drawback that I heard, but I think you already agree that this is not a drawback, is that characters could potentially feel very samey because all of them can use all the different types of magic. But like, why would
yeah.
you?
You wouldn't build them like that.
You really also can't. Like each summon that you put on your person gives you the ability to junction magic to one or two particular stats, not every
Ah,
stat, right?
and they can't all have the same summons, so then they're gonna inevitably be different. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. And then every person has their own limit break,
Ah,
which which
yeah. So
which
that makes them
makes
different.
yeah, which makes them limit breaks are different in Final Fantasy VIII also. In 7 there was just a meter that would build up over time.
Uh-huh.
In Final Fantasy VIII, you can't use your limit breaks until you have like I think 20% of your HP left. Like you're hurting in battle.
Oh, you have to be hurting
Yeah,
to
but
use it.
but once you have that like 20, I think I'm making up the 20%. I think it might be less or something. But as soon as you're in that like, ouchie zone, you can use
That's
your
what I
limit,
always call it.
right? The ouchie zone. Once you're in that ouchie zone until you heal, you can use your limit break every turn.
Oh.
You don't have
Whoa.
to. You don't have to, and you probably don't want to be stuck there for very long. But
So it is so I mean, so theoretically it's a lot harder to lose battles because they're kind of giving you a get out of jail free card, save card at the end if you're
if I mean, unless the bad guy takes you out, also, that's the thing. Like you can stay in that ouchie zone, which I'm going to call it now, but you know you're probably going to get taken out in a round or two if you stay there.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, cool. No, I am down for this. That was very good. I just have to, and actually I was looking it up. I think it's only $20 from it for the Switch.
For the
So
Switch,
not bad. Not bad.
it's
Well,
not.
cool. Well, DJ, good work. I think you did a very, very good job on your first Convince Me episode.
Oh my gosh, thanks, Sam.
So we'll have to think of some more of them for you to do with some other games.
Heck
Which,
yeah.
speaking of other games, what other
Ooh.
games might you be playing right now, DJ?
Other games that I'm playing right now. So I'm trying to play through. I'm casually playing through. Oh, well, that's how much I'm playing through it right now. Is I can't even remember what it's frickin' called. Oh, Wild Arms
Oh
XF.
yeah,
Yeah,
that looks cool.
yeah. It's kind of fun. It's a tactics game that is really hard.
Oh really?
Yeah, I have to like after a while I was like, fine, I'll look up efficient ways to beat this level because like it's hard.
Wow. Okay. Is the grid system kind of fun like that, or is it different, or does it not feel that different once you? It's less
Oh,
up and down. It's the hex grid, right?
yeah, the hex grid. It feels cool. It doesn't feel groundbreaking or
Okay.
anything, but I just got to the point in the game where you can hire mercenaries, so I'm assuming I can have
Mm.
more than 5 or 6 people in my party.
Ah,
There's a dog I can have in my party right now, so that's fun.
that bumps it up. Good game. Solid.
A good game, really great. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna find a game to play when I'm in Oregon for the next 2 weeks that I can just kind of casually play on my Steam Deck before I jump into Clair Obscur, which really just means Chiaroscuro, which really means the light in the dark. Anyway,
Yeah, it's like a painting technique, like
it
the
is.
light versus dark, which is kind of cool. But no, yeah, so that's what I'm playing still
Woo!
largely right now. I'm basically doing some in-game content and messing around with a lot of the systems, and it's really fun.
Do you think I'll
Loving
like
it.
it? Do you think I'll like it?
I think so. I think
Cool.
so. It's so good. The music is so good. It's beautiful. The part that I mean, the thing that's hard to predict is the dodge and parry system for battles is so pivotal. You have to be able to do it, and it's very involved, and it's I would say more involved than most push time systems that I've come across in turn-based stuff.
Cool.
And so if you don't do it well enough, you'll basically just get waxed every battle, right? So you have to be pretty decent at it. And I could see, that doesn't always hit with everybody. So
Oh,
I don't
sure.
I don't expect to have too much of a problem with that, but that'd be my only question mark. Is
Okay.
if that's really frustrating to you, then maybe you wouldn't. But otherwise, I think you'll like it.
Cool. I'm excited to like I played the prologue and I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm excited to like
Okay, good.
jump in and
And I also hope that your expectations, sometimes I've been pumping it up because I do think it's that awesome. And so have a lot of the reviews and whatever. So a lot of times though, if you come into a game that pumped up, then maybe it's hard to reach that bar. So, but we'll
fair.
see. I bet you'll like it.
I bet I
Um,
will.
and then also, I'm sorry, everybody. I am also probably gonna play the new Doom game. It's on Game Pass.
How dare
It's
you play a
the last
non-RPG?
the last two have been really fun. You're killing demons. It's mindless. It's really fun. And then I'm gonna finish up Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition X Definitive Edition. And then I will play Lunar. I just haven't. I will.
Fun. And then maybe also Final Fantasy VIII.
And then, yeah, that's the problem. Is that's why I'm trying to think when. But honestly, yes, I will play Final Fantasy VIII. And we were talking. I was trying to think of Japanese options and when will I start playing games in Japanese. I'm not good enough to really do it yet, other than with maybe a script. There's a really good script I just found, a really good Japanese script,
For
and for Final Fantasy VIII.
oh no way.
Yeah, yeah, and it's supposed to have pretty decent. There's this guy that like has this ridiculous, amazing Excel spreadsheet where he's got scripts and like what type of scripts they have and what type of languages they have in them. And then he also kind of gives them a grade on difficulty, how many new words you might lose, or sorry, might learn, how common they are. And Final Fantasy VIII Remaster is on the easier side for sure,
Oh,
which is good,
cool.
which is what I need, and has a kind of lower-ish number of new words, which is good too. So that fits, a game that I would like to play like that, because then I can kind of, look up the script, try to learn the words, those kind of things. It would take a while. That's the only downside.
That's
But
fun though. Cool.
anyway, so another check in the positive column for Final Fantasy VIII. But anyway,
Woo!
DJ, where might people find us out there in the social medias and online interwebs world?
On the internet, you can find us at Turn-Based Besties anywhere, just at Turn-Based Besties, but mostly on Instagram. You can also find us and listen to us on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube Music or Google Music or iHeartRadio. How about Pocket Cast? Also Overcast and also a lot of other places that we don't even know about yet. Like, I don't know, probably some like Russian hosting website too. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, go to our socials. Let us know, did I convince you? Did I convince Sam to play Final Fantasy VIII? I don't know. You can let us know, leave a comment, or you can email us at turnbasedbesties@gmail.com. I check that email once a day now, so send us an email, man. Do it. Follow our YouTube channel as well. Right now, it includes the podcast and shorts, but it may include some game tutorials soon, and who knows, video clips from the podcast in the future.
I think so.
Should we do a Patreon? Would you pay $1 a month to see some like unedited stuff, some adult turn-based besties? I mean, we are adults, but like like not like adult content. No, 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 not like that, Maureen. Not like that. Oh God, not like that. Pretend I. Anyway, Sam, I love going on new adventures with you here at Turn-Based Besties. Oh God.
Aw, me too. And thanks for that. And as we say all the time, everywhere, everything, all at once, when everything in the world points right, maybe go left and see what you find. Because I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and this has been yet another non-adult version of Turn-Based Besties. Bye.
Bye bye.